Mishka and welcome back to my channel. So in today's episode of Our Life Beginnings and Always, we are going to be continuing with Baxter's DLC. I am very sorry for not uploading yesterday, which was Wednesday. Today's Thursday and I'm recording this. And it's just because I was really busy. I had a competition yesterday and then I had school today and practice today, and then now I have a 4-day weekend, but tomorrow I have a competition and practice right after it. So yeah, I'm gonna be very busy tomorrow, and so I might not upload this till like 6:30. I have no clue, but yeah, everyone, we're gonna be continuing from where we left off. But before we get started, make sure to subscribe button and share this video with your friends so they can find out about my amazing challenge just like I have right now. So yeah, let's get into it. I hope you enjoy. Baxter, my good friend, we're going to the craft and party supply store. A party store? What's the occasion? The way he perked up with genuine wonder, you could have sworn that his dark eyes were sparkling. Terry pressed a finger to her lips and winked. Shh, you can't tell anyone, but we're gonna give Miranda the best birthday of her young life. Oh, that sweetheart is having her birthday soon? Congratulations. Yes, on behalf of Randy, I thank you, and on behalf of me, I thank you again for providing the transportation. We would have been stranded without you. Baxter graciously bowed his head. He picked up on the urgency and importance of what your team was asking. Now that I know what it's for, there's no way I could ever refuse. I'm honored to help. How are the preparations going? A tiny nervous laugh bubbled up in Terry's throat. She glanced to you, scratching the side of her cheek. Well, we got a room booked at a place big enough to hold the party. It's a grand private event like she's never had before. That's great to hear. Yeah, we just need all the food and the party stuff to go in it. I take it that you don't have caterers or decorators arranged then. We are the caterers and decorators. Me and Brittany mostly, since Cove didn't come along today. I see. Baxter idly tapped his finger against his chin, his brow pinched pensively. Certainly this can be done, so there's no reason to worry, but when is the event? Tomorrow. Terry's simple, upbeat answer tore a gasp from Baxter. Bewildered, he slid a step backwards and grasped the fabric across his chest. This was easily the most dramatic reaction you'd ever witnessed from him. There was nothing you could do to stop the snort and laugh that followed. Covering your mouth, you tried twisting away from your friends, but the battle was lost. His reaction was too funny. He was too aghast to even notice. Tomorrow, it's tomorrow, and you only have a venue and 2 people, nothing else, and it's going to be a grand affair. Baxter's mouth snapped shut following the outburst, and neither you nor Terry uttered a single word in response. The two of you shared a quick glance. Baxter took a deep, steadying breath through his nose. He slowly smoothed out the wrinkles in his shirt and exhaled. Once he was better composed, Baxter regained his usual confident air. He attempted to lightly chuckle, but you still caught the strain in his tone. You may have more problems than the lack of a vehicle, I'm afraid. Terry fidgeted her fingers out of embarrassment, but she stood strong and explained her thought process. I couldn't get the goods earlier. Randy would have figured out what I was doing instantly. I couldn't risk it. And even if I managed the impossible, she's always at my house. Not having anything to sniff out was the best way to keep everything a secret. Crossing your arms, you could have hidden the decorations successfully at your house. Your teeth pinched the inside of your cheek just to keep that opinion inside. As long as we stay focused, it can happen. We've just got to buy the decorations today and make the snacks and then the desserts. Then we set it all up tomorrow before things kick off at noon. No problem. I'm not sure how we're gonna do it all. You rubbed both of your eyes and felt your stress levels rise. Baxter sighed sympathetically. I understand you're facing a difficult situation, but keep your chin up. Things aren't cataclysmic yet, I suppose. Well, since I've attended a number of functions, I'd be delighted to offer advice and assistance today and tomorrow. I can definitely do more than simply carting you to the store. No way, you're hired. Terry cheered this upswing of good luck. Baxter's eyebrow arched quizzically, and then you could see his growing amusement steering. Hired? Are you offering to pay me? Nah, but you can join our secret party planning team. That's priceless. I'll take it. His tone sounded even happier than his teasing ploy for money. There really was no payment that would have made it more worth the while. Baxter laughed and gestured towards the street. Let's discuss the details on the way. I imagine the store you have in mind isn't in town. Terry hopped towards the street and partially twisted her heel. She tilted her head and smirked. Nothing's in this little beach town. That's true. With his hands in his pocket, Baxter stepped ahead, passing you to join Terry on the road. He had a few words as he crossed your path. Oh, I would have to disagree with that. Your skin grew warmer from just that slight brush with Baxter. My car is parked a short walk that way. Alright, team, here we go. Baxter slipped inside the condo to grab his keys. You and Terry loitered in the empty street while you waited. We totally hit the jackpot. Did you see his face when he realized this was about a party? He probably has loads of ideas. I figured he'd be willing to help us figure this stuff out. Baxter didn't take long to return and lock up. You followed him to his car with a pep in your step, and Terry slapped her palm to the front passenger side door. Dibs on shotgun. You did not like that. Terry swung the door open in your shift, and your gaze shifted her to her playful grin. You forced yourself to smile in return. Oh, okay. Terry plopped into the seat as he shuffled backwards to let her safely close the door. Across the car, you noticed Baxter watching you silently. He didn't say anything, and you both turned away to climb into your respective seats. Terry glanced at Baxter across the small space between them and winked. It'd be like you're chauffeuring Brittany because she's a VIP. Ah, yes, and where can we try you today, Miss Taylor? Baxter buckled his seatbelt, then immediately began searching through nearby craft and party supply stores via GPS. Did you have a particular store in mind? Oh, that one. She pointed at the lower half of the screen, and Baxter wordlessly set her pick as the destination. With that settled, the rest of you got comfortable and buckled in for the ride. Despite being the new guy in the area, Baxter confidently drove as if he'd been traveling these roads his whole life. He followed the directions laid out for him, but he also kept a part of him focused on the task at hand. Baxter kept the conversation focused on how he could better help you and Terry with the party. He didn't hesitate to be a key member of this operation. Thank you for doing this, Baxter. Seriously, it's so nice. You're welcome. Baxter quickly slid his gaze up to the rearview mirror. His sweet smile curved playfully as he returned his attention to the road. Though there's no real need to thank me. I feel horrible if I ignored your plight, especially when I'm in an easy position to help. You've got a real heart of gold in there. Terry lightly punched his shoulder, and Baxter shook his head at her bold antics. You caught his eye for a split second in the mirror again. Wait, that's not good. I need a black heart, don't I? Perhaps I should turn the car around. Ah, no, you've got a silver heart. That's grayscale. Baxter snorted and tightened his grip on the wheel. Perfect. So, do we have an idea of what we're looking for? It's gonna have a theme. The party can't just be a generic birthday bash. We're going for something here. Excellent. Having a specific design core makes it all the easier. Baxter answered with a pleased tone and peeked at the GPS. He turned the car at the intersection, and the theme is... we don't know. Somehow his smile remained perfectly in place. You imagine he fully expected the lack of preparation at this point. While there are many concepts one can go with, for example, it's summertime and a classic style would be not nudical, or perhaps desert chic for California if we wanted to take our location into account. Or what about this? While summer is scorching on the outside, the guests are treated to a winter wonderland inside. That kind of unexpected, intentionally out of season aesthetic can be quite fun. Exhaling deeply, Terry leaned the side of her head against the glass and stared out the window. Mulling over Baxter's suggestions, she sank her front teeth into her bottom lip. If none of those can suffice, we can continue brainstorming. I don't know if any of those are right for Miranda. She doesn't care about what's trendy or seasonal or what might impress her guests. That's a good point. This isn't some party, it's Miranda's party. Unfortunately, I only met the woman this whole affair is for once. There's not much I can glean from that. I apologize. That put him at quite a disadvantage just by his sincere intent to help. Frowning, you felt somewhat similar. Nobody knew Miranda better than Terry, and that meant she should have a final say on these big decisions. Would you rather I stop proposing ideas? I'm sure whatever you think she'll enjoy most will be wonderful. No, I need so much help. I don't even know what party themes are. How am I going to pick one? Okay, then should I keep throwing ideas until something sounds good to your ears? Yes, please. There's gotta be a theme that's perfect for her. I'll know when I hear it. Very well. You could practically hear the gears moving in Baxter's brain. His expression scrunched up, and it was clear that he was silently compiling a list. Oh wait, what can you tell me about the venue? The colors, the size, the style? We can use that as a base to work off of. It would be pointless to fall in love with the concept and then realize it would clash with the room. Smart. I found the perfect place. It's pretty big. Imagine a space that's larger than the average living room. It's like 3 living rooms. She's got lots of family and plenty of friends coming, so we need it. There's also a lit up dance floor in the center too. A dance floor. His eyes sparked with excitement. You imagine the dance floor would be just as bright tomorrow. Will the event have any slow dancing? Who slants is at a birthday party? It's not a prom. Bro. No, I want to slow dance with him. Baxter's shoulders slumped in response while Terry's surprised laugh morphed into a small coughing fit. He sighed deeply. That's true. If only someone was getting married instead. There's always formal dancing at weddings. It's a shame that the only appropriate time to dance with a partner, besides at practice and competitions, and the old jaunt through some sprinklers happens to be a very uncommon event. But of course, this is outside of having your own actual partner who you can go dancing with whenever you'd like. Your head tilted. Was that a hint? The two of you were dating. Did he want to go dancing with you? Or maybe there wasn't any intent behind his general statement. I promise to dance with you somehow. He held your eye in the mirror for another second. I would enjoy that immensely. It was the least you could do for him after he willingly signed up to help you out. Never mind, sharing a dance with Baxter was going to be a special treat, and you had zero intent to miss that. But Baxter shook his head, ridding himself of his indulgent thoughts. His attention flickered to the map. Regardless, it wouldn't matter either way in this case. I apologize for getting us off track. How else would you describe the venue? It's shiny and pretty and pink. That does give a strong picture of what the presentation could be. It's limiting, but in a helpful way. How so? The most obvious direction would be to make the entire theme simply pink. Terry snorted and tried to suppress her giggles, but she was instantly unsuccessful. Randy does like that color, but she doesn't feel the same way about it as you do with black and white. Now it was Baxter's turn to chuckle. That's fair. So, moving on, we have pretty and sparkly. What else? Is Miranda a fan of glitz and glamour? No, well, basically no. Terry's brow furrowed and she slowly deflated in her seat. Randy wouldn't like trying to be glamorous. That's not how she is. And she wouldn't know how to act if that's what the theme was. Is that so? Then, what about a Fox High Life theme? Oh my god! I cannot do anything in this house. What would that be? You sat forward, wondering what either of those two words were supposed to mean in terms of decorating a party. Let me think of the best way to articulate the premise. Imagine plastic champagne glasses filled with sparkling cider and dainty desserts coated in shimmering dust so they shine. A chocolate fountain with fresh strawberries to dip in colored lights, perhaps even feather boas for the guests to wear. The idea is that nothing is truly extravagant. It's tongue-in-cheek, but with all the celebratory fun of acting like a star on your special day. Not being that kind of person would be part of the point. Cute and silly, basically. Terry sprung up in her seat, vibrating with excitement. She turned to you, but she was still rendered speechless from Bax's proposition. Did I strike a chord? That would be so much fun. Randy loves to let loose and not be so serious, but she's definitely a star. It sounds as though we have a theme then. Yeah, it's all gonna come together now. And we accomplished it without having to leave the car. Wow, Baxter, you really know your stuff. Seriously, you're awesome. It's honestly nothing special. I'm simply sharing some thoughts based on my experiences. It's nothing to you, but it is to us. The rest of the drive kept the secret party planning ball rolling, and the three of you took turns proposing suggestions for what you needed to track down at the store. When you arrived, the three of you entered the store fully focused on the mission, though you felt underprepared at standing at the entrance and scanning the cluttered store in front of you. Shelves were piled with miscellaneous goods, and there was a strong smell wafting in the air. It was like a mix of paint and a scented something, maybe a pine cone? Curling your fingers into fists, you steeled yourself for the task. It was going to be way too easy to get lost with the endless sea of bits and bobs calling out to you. The secret party planning team couldn't fail now. Come on, there's no time to waste. Terry took the lead, claiming a shopping cart and picking a direction. She pushed on ahead while you followed at Baxter's pace. It wasn't long before she was combing through the piles of knickknacks. Her fiery determination to make this birthday the best it could be was admirable, and you were resolved to match it. Your group traveled down several aisles, picking up a variety of supplies that had been decided on during the drive. The right-shaped cups, plastic forks, and spoons that resembled proper silverware, and the rest of the basics. God. You picked out some shiny tablecloths to replace the old checkered ones, and Terry found a few platters to serve the desserts on. Next on the agenda was to locate what you need to prepare the desserts, but before any of you could do that, Terry stopped in her trance and pointed. Oh, look! Craning your head, you scanned the area until you landed on what she was seeing. There in the distance were dozens of feather boas hanging over a row of long hooks. They were fluffy and came in several bright, saturated colors. Grinning wide, Terry raced to the display and flung a ton of them into the cart. It was anyone's guess how many would be needed for tomorrow, and since they were only a couple dollars each, Terry was sticking with the old tried and true method of better safe than sorry. Eventually, her looting uncovered a single per white boa. You instantly knew you needed that boa. It's perfect for Baxter. Because he's coming to the party. If he's not, I'll be mad. You grabbed it, mindful not to crush the delicate feathers. They were soft against your skin while you examined them for any hidden splotches of color. Luckily, the feathers were immaculate, so you added the boa to the growing pile in the cart. It soon became lost in the sea of rainbow. Once Terry was satisfied, she stared at the cart. Everything that you'd selected before was buried under a pile of boas, and there was a lot more shopping to do. Oh, crap. Maybe we should get a second cart. I couldn't agree more. You two can go to the cake decorating aisle, and I'll meet you there. Thanks, B-Man. Baxter hurried to the end of the aisle and paused there, glancing back. Terry sent him off with a playful salute, and he answered with a wave. Bye, we'll see you soon. After that, you and Terry ended up getting a bit turned around, but at long last, you found the aisle with the cake decorating supplies. Terry drove the cart back and forth, anxiously scanning the selection. So, what desserts are we gonna have? There should be a cake, but that can't be all, right? What about cupcakes? Randy loves cupcakes. That's a really good idea. Miranda's gonna be over the moon. Yeah. Terry mumbled complaintively to herself, leaning against the carriage. She nodded once and again. I'll try it. No, I must do it. Hold on. When are you going to have the time to make 2 desserts? Tonight after all the shopping, or tomorrow when the entire room needs to be decorated? I can squeeze it in somewhere. We should split up the task. I'll make the cupcakes and you can make the cake, okay? Really? Thanks, buddy. Terry dabbed an invisible tear from her eye and then placed a hand across her heart. No one could ask for a more loyal cohort. Of course, you don't need to do it all yourself. Terry's mouth wobbled and her eyes grew shiny. Thank you so much. Alright, so I've been thinking about making a confetti cake with vanilla frosting. Could you make chocolate cupcakes with cheesecake frosting and make them all look pretty too? I got it. You added a thumbs up and Terry excitedly pumped her fist. This is gonna be a great party. With renewed enthusiasm, Terry picked out a couple containers of gold and silver shimmer dust for the treats and a packet of edible jewels and decorative stars. Terry reached up and snagged a big 19-shaped candle to go on top of the cake. Her arms were rapidly getting full, and then just in time. There you are, I've been searching for you two. He wheeled the new cart over, but it wasn't empty. Sitting comfortably inside was a boxed chocolate fountain, a pack of wooden skewers, and a big bag of melting chocolate wafers to be used with it. Ooh. Terry leaned into the car and examined the advertised features printed on the box. Some of the packets she was holding onto fell from her grasp and tumbled in with a clang. This is a good brand. It's not too loud. The music should cover the noise it does make, though. Works for me. Terry released the remaining things she was carrying into the carriage. They rained onto the unsuspecting fountain. You placed what you had inside next. Baxter studied everything you'd picked out while he was gone. You have excellent taste. Those decorations are fantastic. Thanks. My cupcakes are gonna be almost too nice to eat. A feast for the eyes, then. Yeah, we got this in the bag. As you passed through more parts of the store, the three of you grabbed a few other last-minute odds and ends. Somewhere along the way, Terry found a sash that said "Birthday Girl." She eagerly snatched it up and threw it across the pile of feathered boas. You pointed out some oversized sunglasses next. Oh, good catch. Those totally fit the vibe. Nodding, you tossed a handful into the cart. From there, your team circled the premises for a little while before deciding to check out and get your haul home. The register area you discovered wasn't built anything like the one at the supermarket. There wasn't a long conveyor belt to put stuff on, only a short counter space. Sorry, this will be one moment. You flashed the cashier an apologetic smile, and you got to work piling up the dozens of party supplies from 2 full carts. Not one piece was particularly pricey, but with the amount of stuff you gathered, the total was skyrocketing. Even with the contributions from friends and family as a combination gift, it was going to be a close call. Terry's lip twitched as she tried not to frown, and the displayed price grew higher, and there were still a mountain of things on the counter. Baxter stared at Terry and his brow furrowed. He then reached over and plucked away the chocolate fountain, box of skewers, and then packet of chocolate. No, I want that. Don't worry about it. I'm going to buy this part myself. But it's not a necessary supply that you were anticipating you'd buy, and it was my bright idea on top of everything. I'll cover it. My treat, or rather, my gift for Miranda's birthday. I can't say no to that. Thank you so much. He gave her a pleased nod and then went to the end of the line, carrying the box under his arm. Baxter managed to get through the line, stop at a different register, and complete his purchase well before you and Terry were through. He waited awkwardly off to the side of the checkout area with his bag. After the poor cashier dug themselves out of a pile of sparkling feathered goods, you caught up to him with the 2 carts neatly packed with bags. As you were leaving, a voice-over announced that the store would be open for only another 30 minutes. Terry glanced at the overhead speaker in shock. Well, I knew we were here a while, but not that long. I'd say this was a successful trip. This was a massive success. Yeah, it was worth it. Your party planning committee exited the store and made your way through the parking lot. Together, you had to fill the trunk and a part of the back seat. We'll take the carts back. Yeah, we've got it. I'll stay put here then. Baxter leaned against the car door as you rolled away. The sky was dark and the night air felt invigorating after being in the stuffy, overly scented store. There was an added pep in your step now that you weren't weighed down by party supplies. Terry shot you a mischievous grin and then raced past you across the pavement. You pushed the cart faster before jumping on the back and riding it. Leaning forward, you made sure to keep yourself balanced on the empty cart. Your smile grew, feeling a cool breeze against your skin. Then you returned to the car together. Baxter stood up and smoothed his shirt before opening his door. I was thinking, since Terry got to sit up front on the way here, I prefer if Brittany got a turn for the ride home. No prob. Period. Thank you. Terry hopped into the car with her heaps of treasures, wrapping her arms around the sides of the bags like a dragon sleeping with its pile of gold. Terry fished her phone out and messaged her parents that she was ready for them to pick her up. She explained that if they left now, then her mom or dad would be at your house by the time the 3 of you returned. After that, you simply needed to enjoy a comfortably quiet ride to the neighborhood. All that shopping ended being more exhausting than any of you anticipated. After a brief and uneventful drive through sleepy streets, you arrived home to find a van parked outside. As you approach, you recognize the shade of green paint and that characteristic dent in the rear fender. Terry leaned out the window and hollered cheerily. Alright, you made it. Away from the driver's side window, it was Terry's parents come to pick her up as planned. This is great. We can take most of the stuff home in the van. Terry jerked a thumb towards the piles of party paraphernalia perched periculously in the back of the car. Why are these such big words? I figured it can stay there until tomorrow. My old folks said we can borrow the van and take everything to the party venue anyway. It's like we planned it or something. Baxter silently nodded, pulling up alongside Terry's parents. Well, since we're transferring the supplies from one vehicle to another, we might as well minimize the distance. Terry, would you mind? He gestured towards the rear of the van. Terry nodded and hopped out to let her mom know it was safe to pop the trunk. While you left your seat, Baxter opened up his own car, then gave Terry's mom and dad a friendly wave. Thus began the daunting task of unloading. Terry's parents noticed how much stuff you'd ended up bringing back, and soon they were also lending a hand. With all five of you, the seemingly endless stack of party goods was defeated in a few short minutes. I think that's the last of it. Many hands truly do make light work. You let out a sigh of relief, stretching your arms. They'd gotten sore from all the heavy lifting in spite of the help. Bowed down before the awesome and terrible power of teamwork. Terry wasn't even remotely out of breath. She could do the whole thing over again without breaking a sweat. You counted yourself lucky she didn't threaten to do just that. Her sense of humor can be wild sometimes. Baxter leaned against the closed rear door of the van, casually addressing Terry and her parents. Are you fine people headed home now? It's getting late. A trio of assenting noises followed. Yeah. Yep, we've got everything for tomorrow. Oh, hold on a sec. She marched over to where you stood and planted her feet on the sidewalk with intent. She stood to attention as though suddenly in the middle of a military parade. You could see she had an object clutched in her right hand, though it was difficult to make out in the dusk. She must have taken it out of one of the shopping bags from earlier. Soon as I get home, the next stage of our mission commences. Don't worry about me. It'll be, here it comes, a piece of cake. She lifted one of your hands and dropped the held item into it. 3 shimmering cylinders of Confederate glitter. Of course, there was still work to be done tonight, baking. It was a struggle just to keep your eyes open. You fought to curl your fingers around the small plastic tubes, biting back a huge yawn. Terry yawned in sympathy before laughing and closing her hand over the glitter herself. Good night, Terry. At least that was what you tried to say. You were so tired at the point that the words were not much more than a blurry mumble. Night, my trusty accomplice. You can do it. I believe in you. Just make sure you don't faceplant into the batter or the frosting or the oven. I'll swing by to pick you guys up at 7 a.m. tomorrow, okay? Party starts at noon and we're gonna need all the time we can get. With a skip and a jump, Terry was already clambering into her parents' van. She waved enthusiastically as the sliding door closed. After retreating to a safe distance, you and Baxter watched the van pull out and head off up the street. It was surprising it could move anymore with all that extra weight. The glow of the headlights grew distant and then faded into the night like a late summer dream. Suddenly you thought again about how fragile and fleeting your time in Sunset Road was, and how the last season with your friends would vanish, never to return. You had to make this party a success, and you knew it in your bones. For Miranda, for Terry, for Cove too, and for everyone else in attendance, for yourself. This party would be a celebration of Miranda, yes, but it would also be a celebration of your friendship and of each other. A brief instant of clarity before all things became uncertain. You had to make it count. All was quiet for a pause, and then Baxter spoke. I understand that there's one more job left to take care of then. He nodded down at the clear containers you were still clutching in your hand. Yeah, I still have stuff to do. It's going to be a long night. Well, I cannot say I'm surprised you aren't finished. It's a tall order, arranging an event at such short notice. Not that I'm criticizing your attempt in the slightest. It's honestly admirable to see the commitment. But I'm getting off topic. What's next on the agenda? You explain to Baxter the situation with the party food. You'd volunteer to make chocolate cupcakes with cream, cheese, frosting while Terry would do the real birthday cake. It was relatively simple order at least. No last-minute meringues for Miranda. She'd survived the disappointment. The edible fox metallic glitter that Terry handed to you was to be the final layer of decoration. A touch of pizzazz that would transform the basic cupcakes into something more to theme. Baxter touched a hand to his mouth and nodded in agreement as you explained. Of course, a pleasing appearance is hardly the most critical factor. A poorly baked dessert would still taste bad no matter how it looked, but flair can help elevate a thing beyond itself. I suppose you could say it's icing on the cake. Why are all these like little quotes? Oh my gosh. Baxter coughed quietly into his fist as though to muffle a laugh. Terry had been rubbing off on him clearly. Regardless, that sounds to be a marvelous idea, though slightly less marvelous given how tight the schedule is. It's getting late. There was no denying that. His thoughtful expression was obscured by the darkness around the both of you. Here's what I suggest. Why don't you come over to my house to do it? I can give you a hand with the preparation if you think I'll be any use. For how often and how rarely Baxter always offered his services, you shouldn't have been taken aback by this latest gesture, and yet you still found yourself wondering why. Baxter had clearly anticipated your reaction, cutting the question off before you could ask it. He made a gesture as if he was looking at his wristwatch, as though of course he didn't wear one. It's nearly 10 p.m. Your family won't exactly thank you for baking this late at night. The noise is one thing, the smell will be another matter. And besides, your fridge might not have enough free space. Leaving the cakes out all night might spoil them. The fridge in my condo as well, there's plenty of room. Baxter's diction had gained a faint quivering edge, like he was skirting around a nervous giggle. It's empty, in fact. I have a conveniently empty fridge in a conveniently empty house. Perfect, wouldn't you say? When he put it in those terms, it made total sense. Baxter sure did have a lot of foresight when it came to these things. It was impressive he always thought that far ahead. You agreed, it was an opportune set of circumstances, but as he talked about how empty his temporary home was, it struck you that Baxter sounded a little sad? Okay, well that would be really helpful, thanks. Don't mention it. I'm in it until the very end as far as this party is concerned. Call it a vocation of sorts. The feeling's mutual. Baxter clapped his hands together. He'd fully committed himself to the cause and was ready to put a plan in motion. Excellent. Let's get cooking, shall we? You'll have to retrieve ingredients from your house since I don't have anything myself. The kitchen is fully outfitted, however, so you needn't bring any equipment. If you want to take care of things, Chaz toy, I can begin prepping the utensils and such. I'll leave the front door unlocked, so feel free to let yourself in when you're ready. Sure thing. So everyone, I'm going to end this episode here. I'm very sorry this is like a really short episode again. I'm on limited time right now. I have to leave in literally 10 minutes. So yeah, I am sorry, you guys. Next episode should be us finishing this moment though. So yeah, everyone, I will see you next week for another video. But yeah, everyone, hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to subscribe button and like and comment on this video. But yeah, everyone, hope you guys have a marvelous day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!